And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Monday night from my corner of YouTube land. Everyone face front. What we got going on here is a beginning of a new week and a new month, November 2nd, not the 1st of November, though. And we're doing is something that was requested off of my channel that I was deciding to go ahead and do. And that is the more obscure comic book character, the 90s comic book character turned into the one of the original female glad comic book movies, Barb Wire, as played by Pam Anderson back in 1995, I believe. And I will move the camera over to see the full figure of what it is I'm doing. There she is, striking a pose with her guns. And of course, you see up here, we got her little text, her signature phrase, "Don't call me babe." And those holes are all supposed to be little bullet holes spelled out with a little smoke coming out of her guns. Now we've got some people coming in. That's good. Introduce yourself in the chat, my regular viewers that are coming in. Okay. Don't forget to, if you're a new viewer out there, don't forget to introduce yourself in the stream as well. Join on in the chat. And please subscribe. For the next hour, we're all going to be here together. As I draw this lady, I'll be moving my camera up and down the page as we go along. So let's all get together, introduce ourselves, and talk around, chat around, and let's have some fun. Start a new month. I also want to show off some things beforehand. If you noticed, if you're regular viewers to my channel, and for those who aren't regular viewers to my channel, you'll see that today, I decided to start a weekly upload series of time-lapse art videos. Every Monday for the next couple months, I will be doing a new series of time-lapse art called Super Sleeves, as in I took a set of blank disposable coffee cup sleeves and decided to do some artwork out of them since they were blank. And if you did see the time-lapse already today, I'll introduce them. The flagship one was this one here of one Miss Emma Frost, the White Queen of the Hellfire Club from the X-Men comics, the former villainess turned heroine. She became the head from the White Queen of the Hellfire Club into the head of the Helions, into the leader of Generation X, to now being the Mrs. Cyclops from the X-Men comics. And the other side, since I was literally drawing it as I was conceiving it, I just did her little initials. But if you can see here through the camera, focus is clear enough, you can see the little dots there are the little circles with the X in them, the standard X-Men logo. And we've only 2 minutes into the stream, and already we've got a message held for review from Christopher. Yeah, most of my usual gang of regular subscribers have shown up, and Christopher, of course, okay, you're Butch. Apparently, Butch is too offensive. But, call the president a cannibal, and you'd probably get $1 million for it in the chat. Besides that, you see here just a basic composition. Because these are long ways, I thought, well, what am I going to do? And, I'm the kind of, my preference and what my viewers expect of me is to draw, attractive comic book women. So, okay, I was asked before by one of my regular viewers and subscribers, Nick, who's my favorite X-Men character. I think it was one of my favorite, it's my favorite X-Men character, and I actually said Emma Frost, because of course, she's gorgeous to look at, and also she has that, fun kind of, arrogant, but backs it up with skill and intelligence kind of, she's the good kind of, independent female character to write. She's not the ones that are just, self-righteous and entitled and arrogant, but don't have the personality or the power skills or the earned power skills or intelligence to back it up. It's just they have the artificially inflated stories to pump up on how great they are, and everybody constantly validating them. But Emma Frost right here, she's far too aware of how experienced she is and how talented she is and how capable of she is to need anybody's emotional validation. She's too accomplished to need emotional validation around the clock. She's the anti-Kamala Khan, the anti-Michael Burnham. Another reason to love the White Queen here, Emma Frost, besides just the white lingerie and the stacked figure. And I considered actually doing this in color, but then I noticed that, yes, her outfit is, pale complexion with the very light blonde hair and platinum blonde and the white lingerie. So I thought, well, what we'd be doing is just, a little bit on the face and a bit here on the skin. So I decided not to, but if you'd like me to, I can right here, I'm go and do some spot coloring. I do have right next to me some of these smaller Copic flesh tone markers. I think there's still some juice left in them, and I could do some. And there's I've got a suggestion here from my viewer Nick. He says that someday you should do a color drawing of her in diamond form. And well, Nick, I've now decided that my Sunday time lapse videos to do color drawings. If you saw yesterday, my Sunday time lapse art series montage time. Every Sunday video, I post a video, and the series is called Montage Time. I've decided to go back and focus and dedicate that to doing time-lapse videos of drawings in color, which are 11 by 14 and pen and ink with the Copic markers, except the regular Copic markers. These ones are the Copic Xiao or Chow, I think is how they're supposed to be, even though this is a Japanese company. I think that's supposed to be Chow. I'm not sure yet. And yes, basically just a little bit of leg, just the bit of bare leg here, and then her arms, her cleavage, her face, and then you got the blonde hair there. And I was already anticipating drawing Barb Wire. I think that's probably why when it came to doing this, I decided to do Emma, because now we got this. And now I thought to keep it going, next week, next Monday, I would do Jean Grey in her Black Queen outfit, which, that very, notoriously S&M, even more dominatrix-y outfit because it's all black of Jean Grey as the Black Queen like this. And maybe tomorrow next Monday, I'll draw it, but I'll draw it like this. And then the back side will be the same drawing, but from behind. Here's that. So maybe later on. I also got something else to introduce. Now that Inktober is over, you've got right here this little hand-stitched sketchbook that was sent to me. I've got the 31 days of October this year. We're all done with a little drawing. Somewhere in here, we've got The Thing to start out because of all the Fantastic Four reading I've been doing as part of the development of my comic project called Intrepids, where, yes, the elevator pitch would be picture the Fantastic Four as swimsuit models, and you have Intrepids. So then this was a 40-page sketchbook, so what I did to try and fill it up to do the whole 31 days was some of these I had to do as 2-page spreads, hence Mr. Fantastic like this, and the Human Torch like this, and then the Invisible Woman, and concluding with all of the Magnificent FF together as one big happy super family. I'd stretch it out more to doing the villains of Doctor Doom. And now that I come to think of it, I should have gone and done another one. I should have done Emma Frost because she's my favorite X-Men character to draw. Yes, everybody loves Wolverine, and Wolverine is cool, but my personal favorite X-Man to draw is the White Queen right here. And we've got to see, Wolverine there, like drawing him like that, but, Cyclops right next to them. We transition away from the monster from the cover of X-Men #1. Christopher thinks that Emma is nasty. She's not nasty. She's sophisticated. She's a very high society. The personality, for those who don't know, picture one of those high society women from those shows in the 80s, like Knots Landing or Dynasty. Yes, one of those. She was on Dynasty. She was blonde. She was married to John Derek before he married Bo Derek. I can't remember the actress's name, but she was like a sexy young Playboy thing in the 60s, and then she was like a cougar when Dynasty was on. But her personality and Joan Collins and all those other famously, wicked society women, yeah, that's she comes from breeding, very, very well-bred, very high Connecticut high society. That's why, with the American accent put on, I think the perfect casting was going to be Alice Eve playing her in X-Men First Class, but then she backed out and they replaced her with January Jones, who became that film's equivalent to Halle Berry of being the massively bad acting, stick in the mud weakness of the franchise, weak casting of the franchise. And then she would be supplanted by the increasingly arrogant, phoned in, entitled performance of Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, being the horribly phoned in, miscast egomaniac. But now I'll go back here to the skits I did of sketches. We got a little battle damaged Sentinel. Of course, Magneto, master of the magnet, the Polish Jew survivor of Auschwitz, who grew up to be the master of the magnet and the true villain of all mutant kind. To then the Beast and Armor. I was drawing these as I was reading the Warren Ellis Astonishing X-Men run. And there we go there. Which do you think is better? This rendering of Emma Frost like that with the big cape and the little X cleavage button, or this one right here? Which Emma do you think is the best? Get a little more in space there. Oh yeah, I brought up Halle Berry as Storm, and I already got a quote from Nick. Do you know what happens when a toad when it's struck by lightning? The same thing as happens to everything else. Yes. Yep. Mildred pretty much put it on the head that really the Emma Frost is the kind of character who's really an alpha female. They make so many Marvel and DC are so obsessed with trying to pander to the woke Twitter crowd that doesn't buy comics that are all about the women being so strong and independent. They're the bestest ever, and yet they're always such weak-willed, vindictive narcissists who always need to be validated and always lashing out at anybody who even slightly doesn't worship the ground they walk on. And Emma Frost is above that. She doesn't need your goddamn validation. She knows how good she is, and she knows how good looking she is. To quote the great Alice Cooper from his song "Feed My Frankenstein" that he performed in Wayne's World, I wish that somebody would write into it to Emma Frost would tell somebody, "I'm not evil, I'm just good looking." Such was the opening line from Alice Cooper's "Feed My Frankenstein." If anybody out there remembers that song. But another question I have out there is, what do you think I should charge? I've not posted this for sale in my online store yet. After the stream, I'll go ahead and do that. But of all this here, you've got 31 drawings of major comic book characters, including Galactus, got the Gorgon, you got Michael Myers for Halloween to tap it off. The only one with a bit of color, the blood on the knife. We've got the Ghoul Lunatics from the 50s horror comics, the old witch right there, and then the Vault Keeper, and the comic book Crypt Keeper. These were all how they looked in the Tales from the Crypt comics. Tales from the Crypt, the Vault of Horror, and the Haunt of Fear. We got the Gillman, Creature from the Black Lagoon. There's some more of Emma Frost right there. We've got Vampirilla, that was fun. And Master of the Mystic Arts, Doctor Strange, created by Johnstown, Pennsylvania's own Steve Ditko. My Lady Death right there, lovely lady. Freddy Krueger. Superman and Iron Man. Spider-Man, Grifter from Wildcats. And want to say, what do you think would be the charge? How much price? Christopher says the price of a coffee for the sketchbook. Well, that's $5. I'm guessing, yeah, General bring it down that your price for a coffee here would be $5. The other sketchbooks I have, well, according to Nick, Nick says we like them both. He go back to when it comes to which version he likes better, and looks like both these renderings of Emma Frost seem to be ones that, well, according to Nick, we like them both, and I guess that's my passion for the character comes out in the way that you draw them. You can see when somebody really likes drawing a particular character, like when Jim Lee was drawing X-Men, and he really particularly liked Gambit and Rogue and Psylocke. That's why he liked to put them ahead, and Wolverine. So, well, Nick asks, how much do you usually charge for a sketchbook? Well, those daily sketchbooks I sell, like last year's where I did a sketch a day to start off the morning, those 2 volumes, I sell them for $25 a piece a volume. And this one, though, this is all, this year's Inktober cycle. So I'm not sure what to charge them for. That's why I'm asking my audience out there before I would post them. Well, my standard price for sketchbooks would be $25, but this is a special occasion. So it's also a matter of if anybody here in the stream ahead of time, if you would want to just go, and the first link in the description below this video, I've got a online store where you can simply donate any amount of money you want, and I'll just simply mail it out to you and not even post it for sale. If you'd like this before it's posted for sale, you can just follow. I've got 4 links in the description below the stream. The first is to my online store. The first thing you see there is a category for donations. Donate whatever amount you want, and I'll then mail it out to you. If not, then just you can also make your suggestions for what the asking price of my store would be. I'll show a bit more. Yes, that's Storm, Wolverine, Cyclops, other ones. I think I've shown everyone there is in there. Yes, I have. But besides that, I also wanted to show something else that came in mail-wise, was a good, full, a nearly complete run of the comic book series Wildcats. Yes, Wildcats by Jim Lee. This was Jim Lee's contribution to the image revolution in the early 1990s. He started Wildcats, and he was really the creative force behind the first 13 issues of the comic, and issues 4 right here up through issues 13. And then he stepped away from drawing in order to focus on really the entrepreneurial ventures of trying to branch out Wildcats. And it came to the point where the back matter in these issues would have full page ads for coming soon for fall on CBS, the Wildcats cartoon show. And it did run for a season as part of CBS's Saturday morning action block alongside Skeleton Warriors and the lighter seasons of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, the original run. And one issue in particular I'm interested in, and the reason I'm grateful for whoever sent me these, and I mentioned something online about liking Jim Lee's work and his like 90s work and how he was able to lay out a page dynamically and how he was able to idealize the pose, and for the love of action and figure drawing, he was always so impeccable, and how much I wanted to really pour into Jim Lee's Wildcats work as another point of reference for how I want to lay out the pages of my own comic, Intrepids. And one issue in particular caught my fancy now that I'm looking through it, and that is issue 8 of Wildcats right here. That if you notice the background details, you've got right here, this was done in the mid-90s, so we've got a cassette tape. We've got yes, this is the character Voodoo, the stripper superhero who's part of Wildcats. A stripper superhero, quite like Barb Wire. You see there's but upside down, you see the book, that's where my thumb is. That is Private Parts by Howard Stern. Howard Stern's memoir, Private Parts, that was made into the film. But take out the bookmark. Also, if you notice right there, is Playgirl magazine that she's got with her. She brought with her Playgirl because because she's a woman, she can be attractive and also like sex. Women being attractive and women liking sex, that's something that seems to be the ultimate no-nos that they'll hunt you down for if you put those in the comics. But another thing, the badass motorcycle, badass vehicle design, that's all its own. I'm not interested really into drawing vehicles that are man-made. Like every piece of technology I want to put into Intrepids, I want it to be my own thing, because I don't feel comfortable drawing, exact representations of motorcycles or cars or other vehicles that that you've seen already. I want something new. I want something fresh. So that's why, this is my idea of a motorcycle. Draw something that's my own design. And we see, that beautiful way that Lee draws a figure, and then the next panel over, we see him away, it's a tiny figure, and there's her ass, followed by extreme close-up of her gorgeous face. And this page alone, if this was tweeted out, there would be people hunting Jim Lee. He's problematic, or this is so objectifying and so evil. They don't care. This is what sells comics, and he got to be a multimillionaire on the back of this stuff because that's what the market wants. That's what succeeds. That's why before you shoved Brie Larson on us, there were so many superhero movies that were that were in the money, honey. And just look at the Avengers, where every scene she was in and every poster that featured her did everything it could to glorify the ass or cleavage of Scarlett Johansson. Or she could have her do both by doing the yoga twist so she could have her breasts and her butt out at the same time. And I can imagine, yes, her having some, not being interested in how her butt or her ass gets more screen time than she does, but she knew what she was signing her up for when she was deciding to be a lady superhero, and knew what was going to keep her in the limelight after her 15 minutes were up and starring in The Spirit and all that such. So keep yourself in the Marvel Universe to keep yourself in the limelight. She knew the bargain she made. Not to mention, ScarJo's ass is a much better actress. But then we go from that and showing off what sells comics and the kind of way to render women that sells comics towards the ultimate example of that. This one, you've got an almost centerfold kind of spread where you see Voodoo in all of her glory in something that looks straight out of the swimsuit issue at the time, and especially Jim Lee and the way he drew bodies, where he gave them those tall, toned, leggy figures, the likes of which you would see in the 90s era of Elle Macpherson and Rebecca Romaine being regular cover girls for the swimsuit issues. These are the kind of figures I'm looking to put into Intrepids, and these are the kind of pages I'd love to put in, the ones where you've got the visual storytelling that's done in this broad, big budget Hollywood way that revolves around the gorgeousness and gorgeosity of the female form. And so, of course, there's even pages like this where it's establishing location and conversation. There is a dynamism and an excitement to it that you just makes everything pop, that makes everything pleasant and interesting to look at. Not pleasant, makes it awesome to look at. Not pleasantries, awesomeness to look at. And then you get these things where, yeah, they're not going to be all grizzled and angry, but when you see the Intrepids, going into action, you're going to see them in poses and rendering like this. You're going to see them be the science heroes that they are, and they're going to jump in there. And while they're doing it, they'll be too busy looking good to care about whether or not they're adhering to the male gaze. Because when you look like that, you're going to catch a lot more flies with honey than vinegar. Yes. Did I mention that the voodoo character here is her backstory is that she's a stripper? Now you know why. It's, enough with all the pleasantries. Let's get on to the show. And I see I've also got an introduction from my subscriber, Relentless. Cool, beautiful book. In fact, we think that's referring to this. And yes, high and tight. Mildred is saying high and tight. That's what we're looking for in the ladies. A little high and tight and a little meow. Now, with all that out of the way, let's go in and actually start drawing. Of course, starting with her face, but Pam Anderson epitomized, the blonde bombshell look of the 90s. She also epitomized the certain little visual tics of the glamour models or the movie stars of the 90s. And one of them was the very thin eyebrows. So thin, I'm actually going to draw them with the 0.1 millimeter Copic SP pen like this. And remember, you can look at her all you want, enjoy, how she walks around, struts around in that corset with these guns. But remember, don't call her babe. And if you'd like to know why that was her catchphrase in the comics and they put that in the movie, was that there was something where she was originally published by Dark Horse. And she was part of the superhero universe that Dark Horse Comics established called Comics Greatest World. And issue 1 of Barb Wire came out in 93. The movie hit theaters in 95. So that is an incredibly, we wouldn't see a turnaround from a new independent comic character to getting their own movie with that much efficiency until Kick-Ass that came out in 2010 with an issue 1 that was on the shelves in 2008. And the movie, the option to Kick-Ass was sold before issue 1 was even on the stands. So there were actually if you read the back issues of Kick-Ass, there were already the column from Mark Millar. He was giving progress reports on the production of the Kick-Ass movie as the issues were coming out, which is truly something interesting and different and to behold, something to have that kind of efficiency, that kind of turnaround. It was we've already got some talk, and also how is another reason why Mildred here loved the Barb Wire was she also had a great Rottweiler in the film. Yes, her vicious guard dog who is somebody yells at her, "Oh, suck, grab my balls or lick my balls" or something like that, and she says, "Okay," and just yells for her dog to grab him, and then grabs him by the scrotum. Yes. We also got some talk about how much they saw the movie in the theaters, loved it, and then immediately bought the VHS and DVD version of it. And so I knew my father would tell me that was the first film he ever bought on DVD. Like when the DVD format just came out, the first one he got was Barb Wire because there's going to be more of her. There's the DVD has an extended version of her in the opening credits where she's on the swing in the PVC dress getting hosed down. It was this message was held for review, and it's from Nick. That's an unusual one. I think this is the stream where Luke has said ass the most. LOL. It was I sound like a gangster rapper tonight. All about that ass. It was what's that the Dan Fraga likes to say it on his streams. It's now he also even his acronym for it is now in the Urban Dictionary, ATT, ass titties. I should invite Dan Fraga onto my stream. I think he'd like it. If the more I draw ladies like Barb Wire, the more he'll be into it. The more about it's all about, especially with Pam Anderson, and how she damn well knows it. She was nobody's victim. She was nobody's object of the patriarchy. She damn well knew what she was doing with her body and how to become a world famous sex kitten off of it. It was I don't know about that chubby you're talking about, Christopher. Yes, let's see that. Definitely getting onto the corset right here. Now we got somebody asking here, what's your favorite scene? There's a scene where I know it would be strange to think of a film that stars Pam Anderson and to say that your favorite scene involves Clint Howard, but it does. It involves her working as it's her working as a bounty hunter all on the side, along with being running her little bar. But yes, there's a scene where there's some kind of bail bondsman type, like is played by Clint Howard, and she gets hired to go out and hunt down some bail jumper. And there's an elaborate action scene where the apartment there's some apartment building where they're where this guy's holding him, being held hostage by someone, and she's gonna go and track him down. So she and of course, let's say insinuates her way into the apartment next door by passing herself off as a prostitute, and then knocks the guy out before she's expected to, deliver on her services, and then busts her way in, and you get this elaborate fight it's both a fist fight and a gunfight scene between her and these three guys holding this bail jumper hostage. And that's also the scene where you get her catchphrase introduced, where somebody, you do, that's good shooting, babe, and what? In the big, don't call me babe, and blows that last guy's brains out before tying the guy up, throwing him on the back of her motorcycle, and then dropping him off at the place like he's like some kind of wild animal. And yes, someone here mentions, yes, she was doing yes, that Pam Anderson was doing this film while she was 4 months pregnant with her first child. Oh, and to answer Nick's question, he also wants to know, what did you think of The Burning? Yes, The Burning was a cult slasher film from the 80s that Nick sent me to watch around on Halloween on Blu-ray, and I thought it lived up to the hype as being a film that the kind of slasher film that the more dedicated horror aficionados would like, and you can definitely see why it's one that the more mainstream tastes, the more mainstream horror people, the ones who are more, when it comes to the slasher stuff, is more interested in the Jason stuff, the Michael Myers stuff, instead of the ones that were smaller budgeted or done independently, that were either given small releases or put straight to VHS. You can see why the ones who are really into the stuff, really dedicated, detail oriented, interested into the stuff, would love The Burning, and why it's still a cult film. It has a really dedicated following of people who will recommend it over and over. In spite of it being produced by Harvey Weinstein, they'll still recommend check out The Burning, either around Halloween or just because it's a great slasher. But yeah, there's a slower pacing and there's more interest in the acting of it. And you can see all the future working actors and the one future Oscar winner that made their debut in this film. Yes, for those who don't know, in The Burning, we have the cinematic debuts of Jason Alexander of Seinfeld fame, Fisher Stevens from Short Circuit, as well as Academy Award winner Holly Hunter. Yes, but when you watch the film, once you get past the origin story of how the burning of the title is of a man who gets he survives getting horribly burnt during his time in a summer camp, and it's about him getting revenge on those who wronged him. But the body count is almost exclusively towards this one great scene, that gets shown as like a highlight, as part of the highlight reel of famous 80s slasher movie kills. And it's one of the killer, the burning of the title, bursting out of the water with giant garden shears in the middle of a makeshift canoe and killing everyone in the canoe, including George Costanza with a full head of hair in his first movie. Yes, this was even before he did that famous McDLT musical number commercial. Yep. Just check that shit out. But if you're interested in something that's, a more slower paced film, something that puts a little bit more effort into the things other than, the kills, the kill count, then I think you would like The Burning. But it's definitely not I could understand why it would be one that a lot of the, especially like modern people that will watch back at that stuff and say, oh, The Burning, oh God, it's so boring. They're just talking and there's not enough gore. There's got to be, where's the big kill? There's supposed to be, like they're just going on and on and on about this backstory of this person. Show me some, stabbing. It's weird that more mass murder. It's almost like they work for the. It's almost like they're news team producers. If it bleeds, it leads. More blood, more blood. Oh yes. Someone saying here, I feel like putting on my leather corset, and Relentless says, I love it. I've also got Relentless. What do you think I should charge for my Inktober sketchbook right here? I'm not sure what to charge, and I'm thinking before before midnight, I'll have it posted to my Square store, and if anybody wants to go in and buy it up before then, just follow the link into my online store and make a custom donation of whatever dollar amount you want, and I'll mail it out to you. But until then, I'll if not, then I'll settle on a price and post it to the store. So I'm gonna say I've got my Rottweiler lying next to me. Well, when I draw these, I'm focusing on the ladies, not on the dog. Like that would be something if I'd put that more detail in. I'd put the Rottweiler with her if it was like a commission piece, and somebody specifically, I want to see Barb Wire with her dog, or like if somebody wanted me to do Barb in that PVC dress in the opening where she's getting hosed down, and there's the cover of Word Up, the around the world, got a weird thing to show you. That does you do. Throw your hands, do your dance, do little broken lines. And $30. That sounds good. Relentless is she's both simultaneously talking to Mildred up in the chat and having a glass of wine. What about $30? That sounds like be a good price. $30 be a good price for the sketchbook here. Now figuring out a technique of my own that instead of doing the contours of the hair as just one serious contour, I decided to do the little broken lines, little miniature broken lines here that you can then segue more naturally with the thinner line into the details of the hair to differentiate what I've been doing with rendering the hair on female figures from how I've been appropriating the Frank Cho technique of, if you look at him, he's contouring with detail. That's his kind of a way he does figures, where you notice that the thicker lines are always on the contours of the figure, and then all the texture details, say, a big dinosaur or, like Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad costume is much thinner lines on the details or the nuances of her outfit, as opposed to, doing all kinds of incessant, cross hatching and hatching work to get that texture in there than the Jim Lee sort of way. And that I have the way Jim Lee, accentuates and emphasizes the figure in the drawing of his pages, and how he can make the human figure look like this, titan, absolute titan of power and strength and creativity, and can dynamically also draw, vehicles and landscapes and locations, and actually do them in a tiny way where you can have just the little strip this thick of a cityscape, and can make it look interesting and dynamic and draw in your eye, of having backgrounds and having walls or having the interior of a car, all that stuff that you say people would make fun of in the Rob Liefeld way, but hey, Rob Liefeld knew what he knew what he was doing, to make the world pop. And, there's far worse things going out than people should calm down about ragging on Rob Liefeld's drawing style. There's far bigger fish to fry. We've got winter coming up, and I don't have a long coat for it. That's why I was like the newest edition of my Amazon wish list was a London fog coat, a London fog long coat for the winter. That's my little detail there. Nope. Nick is asking, so you're going to do the new coffee cup drawing every day this month or once a week? I'm just going to be doing these once a week. Yes, once a week I'll be doing these little wraparound coffee sleeve art. And yes, every Monday, my 6:30, I now have a regularly scheduled Monday time-lapse upload. And yes, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, Mondays, I'll be doing a new one of these. And next Monday, I'll be doing Jean Grey as the Black Queen of the Hellfire Club. The only difference thing is that I'm using thinner pen lines, where those very, very fine lines that they put in the Copic Multiliner SP set those lines actually are now coming in handy because of how just small the space is. I need to use the thinner lines, where this 0.1 pen is actually the thickest one I'm using. And these extremely tiny ones, the 0.3 and 0.5 millimeter pens, those are the ones I'm doing for detailing instead of, and this one is the one for contouring. Now, what else we got? Okay, we're going to be doing the your sister and your mama too. Do your dance in the air like you don't care. Tell me what's the word up. Yeah, if you remember the film as vividly as I do when I first saw it when I was 4, seeing it on VHS, my dad letting me watch it. Yes, the opening, that cover of Word Up while she's getting hosed down on the swing, and then they get the crowd pumping for her, and now that's a way to start a movie. If trust me, Captain Marvel probably would have been a lot more liked by the fans if they had, a better cast actress, but a better cast actress also opening the movie like that. her on a swing in the Miss Marvel costume from the 70s, the one that Dave Cockrum came up with, looking like that. Don't call me Miss Marvel. Yeah, I think those are my 2 cents on how Captain Marvel could have been a more well-liked movie. It was someone saying, "Great way to see which way he will swing," says Christopher. Okay, now got all this. Remember, with even though she was really the big blonde bombshell of the '90s, Pam Anderson was still very fond of the wild, big, elaborate '80s hair, which is very intricate to draw. And if you look at the ladies in '90s comic books, the '90s big superhero wave, the Jim Lees and Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld, them being really the triumvirate of '90s comic book art to me. They all of them drew with the large, intricate, crazy hairstyles that were straight from the stereotype of 80s fashion, not really the ladies in the 90s, but that's just my opinion. I could be incorrect about that. There we go here. And I can remember Barb Wire was not the first superhero stripper. That was a Voodoo from Wildcats I just showed you. And the reason that Barb Wire's catchphrase was "Don't call me babe" was that before her comic came out in '93, that same publisher, Dark Horse, had a comic called Babe that was done by the great John Byrne, the great artist behind the X-Men early '80s and the Fantastic Four mid '80s stuff. And apparently the publishers thought that people would confuse the look of Barb Wire with the look of Babe. So that's why on the cover of issue 1, there she is on a motorcycle, pointing a gun right at you, breaking the fourth wall, with the dialogue saying, "Don't call me babe." And they incorporated that catchphrase into the film. Right there. Not to mention, the plot of the movie is like a carbon copy of Casablanca. You have a fascist government hunting down a scientist and a spouse who are taking refuge in a bar in a sovereign port town run by the spouse's ex-lover, who also does illegal side deals with the corrupt cop. And I was just reminded. Relentless is asking me, did you receive the Star Trek station and Blade Runner? I had to miss a couple live streams. I will miss tomorrow again too, unfortunately. Well, that's okay, Relentless. Considering your generosity, I forgot to mention something before. Over the weekend, something straight off of my Amazon wish list came in, thanks to Relentless and her very, very generous donation. Off of my Amazon wish list comes, yes, the great Eagle Moss Company's design of Deep Space Nine, the space station from the dark horse of the dark Star Trek franchise, Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I'll take it off its little podium here and show off. This design is so intricate and so precise in its details, that I probably could make my own little Star Trek fan film, getting a little green screen equipment, and I could use this as a model. I can make my own little Steep's DS9 fan film using this. Bum, ba, da, da, dun, dun, dun. Ba, 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 da, 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 dun. I sincerely thank you, Relentless, for getting me this. This is definitely going to be a great reference point on the designing vehicles, designing the ship, and the ship in its different forms it's going to take throughout my comic Intrepids. Because my ship isn't going to just look like one thing. It's actually going to be able to be like a transformer and shape and actually shapeshift depending on which phase of its mission is in. It is in, and especially now, thanks to BBC America, I'm finally able to actually watch Deep Space Nine. I was able to watch the whole first season, but I'm really looking forward to the episode of Deep Space Nine that guest stars Iggy Pop as a Cardassian. That's the one I'm looking forward to. Except, there we go. Trying to put it back down carefully. And the other thing, this was not from my Amazon wish list. This was something that Relentless just sent me just because. And if I could bring it back, it is the 2-disc edition of Blade Runner. Blade Runner, the final cut we've got here. This is the one that comes with all different versions of Blade Runner that exist, from its theatrical cut to the director's cut from 1992 to the final cut of 2007. Yes, we've got the video, got all those special features, all that stuff. We've got the final cut, and we also have the feature-length making-of documentary about the movie called Dangerous Days. Yes, I did own this before when the final cut first came out in 2007, and now I own it again. So I sincerely thank you, Relentless. Okay, now we're gonna go in and do more work here. Let's see, we're gonna go in with her hair, big poofy hair. Yes, I think there is one idea I have for how the ship in Intrepids would change. It would reconfigure itself into something that would look more like some kind of net or some kind of harness, or like the one big giant version of those solar panels you see on the ISS. And now we're gonna go under her guns. Babes with guns. Babes with guns. All right, there we go. And now here, okay, now here. Okay, there we go. And now here we are with a little bit of detail there. And now here we are. Okay, now we got the little button here. Nice. Okay, now we've got those little details on her gun. She's got big guns. She walks softly in those heels, but she carries big guns. I saw a toy of Barb Wire that must have been done by Sideshow Collectibles, and they showed there was one where it comes with a barbed wire as is, but it also has a big overcoat you can put on her, as well as a series of guns. It was like a huge automatic weapon along with these pistols. These are the pistols she was using in that scene where she's she's catching the bail jumper, and we get the introduction of her "Don't call me babe" catchphrase, the one that was my answer to the question of what's my favorite scene from the film. There we go. Now here, okay, now we are. Give me a go for launch. Bop, bop, bop. Now here. Okay, there we go. Nice. There we go. Here and here. Now we're going to do some smoke. We got some smoke in here. Okay. Nice. I was now Christopher saying his favorite scene from Barb Wire is the ending of the opening credits. She flings one of her shoes at a man, and it stabs him in the eye, killing him. And you get to see her barefoot. There's well, if that's your, I was expecting that to be Christopher's favorite scene. So there's that's his joy to see the lady barefoot. Okay, no, so there we go. Now, what else are we going to do? Move down to her legs. Let's see how much... she's wearing shoes, though, so I'm not sure Christopher won't enjoy these. But... wow. Wow. Ain't that lovely? The glory of the female form. Now got the other leg to do. Do a little here and here. Now, yeah, really do that contour on her legs a little more exaggerated, a little sexier. We're doing comic books. We're not doing, we're not doing life drawing classes. So we're gonna exaggerate that contour, twist that line of action, push that figure to draw the eye into all those beautiful areas that make ladies in comics so darn beautiful to look at. Beautiful to look at and read. Now, boom. Nice. There we go. There. Now we're going to move up and do some lettering. Time to do some lettering on this baby. Let's try some... Start with these little holes here, these little bullet holes. Make them different sizes. Now, not every bullet hole is the exact same size here. And go from one side to the other to make sure we have the even number of holes on each little bullet hole letter I'm doing. There we go, there. Don't come. There we go, starting with the E. Isn't that beautiful? And I know I've got some wrestling fans out there who watch me, so I don't know if anybody else remembers. How come that doesn't get brought up more as the famous WrestleMania 12 where Diesel, he went up against a match. I can't remember the opponent was, but I remember his valet was Pam Anderson, and his opponent's valet was Jenny McCarthy. And whoever would get to leave the arena with the both of them. And you saw that, yeah, of course, Diesel won. So there he was. He strutted in with one playmate around his arm. And then at the end, he strutted out with two, with Jenny McCarthy and Pam Anderson wrapped around him. Because he was trying to prove that he really was Big Daddy Cool. And the blonde bombshells of the mid-90s. Who else is that's the way to prove it. Get the wonder if that should have been the opening theme to Barb Wire instead of that cover of Word Up. Have that scene, have that big air horn, that big diesel truck horn, and then, you come into her on that swaying around on that swing. Let's take down that one so that way you can see the piece much better. Don't want that little pen blocking out any detail. It's enough that my camera obscures part of what I'm drawing. I gotta get a higher little... I'm mounting the camera on a tripod on my drawing board, so what you're seeing is that's why if I'm trying to get the camera high enough so you can really get to know better what it is you could see everything I'm doing in full frame, so I wouldn't have to move the camera. Here we go. Call me Babe. Now we're getting down to Babe. Yes, she's a robo-babe. If she were a piece of anatomy, she'd be Baby Majora. If she were a president, she'd be Abraham Lincoln. You ever used to find Bugs Bunny attractive and he'd put on a dress and play a girl bunny? No. Why do you want to know? Just wondering. I don't know why Wayne and Garth Denver imagine themselves in a forest with Pammy right here. I mean, yes, Heather Locklear, but it's the early '90s. Shouldn't Pam Anderson be big now? Be what you're talking about? No, Heather be thy name, Shewing. Or the scene where you got them talking about Claudia Schiffer, the Guess Jeans girl at the time. Wow, there's a scene that would send that would send the blue-haired Twitter mob crazy. It'd be tracking down wherever Mike Myers lives and throwing a mortar through his window. Shwing, shwing. And you know what that model's doing now? She married the director of Kick-Ass. So I'm guessing he's doing okay now. He got to direct Kick-Ass and Kingsman, and he married the Guess Jeans girl. So life's good for Matthew Vaughn. It was he got kicked out of directing X-Men 3, which no. Not getting to direct X-Men 3 was the biggest favor of his career. It was there we go. What else? Oh, now we got the big one up there. Don't. I keep saying. Okay, now push that out of the way. And let's see, do something a little creative with this one. How about we do a big bullet here? We do some, I laid out conventional letters, but no, let's do big rounds. Big rounds like something like a large rifle, like what the SEAL Team 6 guys would use. I saw I used to, when it was on, I watched the Jim Jeffries show and did a segment where they talked with the guy who gunned down bin Laden at he was part of SEAL Team 6. And they're talking about guns and they're demonstrating the rifles. And they actually do a little competition where they have Jeffries, who had never held a gun before, go up in a sharpshooting contest with the guy who assassinated bin Laden. And Jeffries actually hits the target. He hits the target, and the man who put the one between the eye of bin Laden misses. Yeah, either they made that up or that's the biggest upset since David. When, it'd be like somebody who had never taken a defense class just walking straight up to a UFC champion and just laying them out. It would be like if Brie Larson just went up to Gina Carano or Ronda Rousey and beat them in a fight. It's that surprising. But that's then again, that show's off the air now, and he's back to doing his stand-up. And well, I'd never heard of him before he started doing his Comedy Central show, so now I'm following Jim Jeffries' stand-up. So there is that to look at. There's that to look forward to. Oh, there. Just crazy, drunk, possibly still on drugs Australian comedians who yell like this. I find it hilarious. I'm guessing it's the slurring accent, but that's the stereotype about Australians and how much they like to drink. That's why Australians always sound like they're drunk. Even when he'll tell you he's sober, Jim Jeffries still sounds like he's hammered. Oh, you say about guns? We don't need more guns. We need less guns. Well, for a guy who talks about needing more gun control, he's damn good at sharpshooting. He's got more natural talent for putting two between the eyes of somebody than someone who was a trained killer. That's a little anomaly in there. And let's see what else we got. Okay, don't. One more detail is her eyes. Okay, right there. Those pencil-thin eyebrows. Yes, now let's do a little contour. I've noticed we're getting into the final 5 minutes of this piece here, so that's doesn't really leave us time to do the brush work, so we're just going to leave Barb right here in line work instead. So there we go there. And we got this detail to do. Yes. Where else are we gonna? Oh yeah, the little holes here. And there and there. Isn't that nice? Do these little contours here. And now see right there, those little details. Where's my little time to now take this and erase all those pencil marks in there I was talking about before? Yeah, there we go. And here and here and here. Get all these out of the way. Clean up what we laid in. It was my fault I spent so much time showing off my Wildcats and little Miss Frost right here. Yes, alpha female. That's a good. That's the another expression I hear is a hot bitch to describe certain characters like Emma Frost, but no, alpha female sounds depending on the mood, she's either the hot bit. You can call her either a hot bitch or alpha female. And it's depending on who you ask. Okay. Now there. Forgot the little bullet holes here for the A in Babe. Babe, not the pig, not the singing pig. What else are we gonna get down to her legs in here? And now let's go in this way. Okay, and okay there. Now one last detail we gotta do is add a little signature, a little signatory spice. And with that, take this up. We have ourselves a finished Barb Wire. And always remember, kids, her slogan, "Don't call me babe." Thank you all for watching. And if you'd like to buy this piece before it's available for sale, follow the first link in the description below to my online store and make a custom donation of $30 if you live in the US or $50 if you live abroad, and that includes Canada. And I will mail this out to you for you to put up on your wall, or you can give it as a gift to a friend. Besides that, I also have original illustrations at this size, pen and ink, 11 by 17 inch. They are $25 a piece plus shipping and handling. You can also commission me for artwork at this size at $50 a piece plus shipping and handling. And please don't forget, I have color drawings available for sale at $25 a piece plus shipping, such as this version, this color version of Barb Wire here. That's more a little skin tone with some grayscale. A custom donation of 30 gets you this, American or abroad, and a custom donation of 60 will get either American or abroad will get you this and this together as a package deal. So besides that, thank you all for watching. Follow the links below to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Please subscribe. And of course, you can also help out the channel with a purchase from my Amazon wish list, including things like, the things to help me expand the quality of my channel, as well as a nice little London fog winter coat to get me through the upcoming Michigan snow that we're going to be expecting. I'll be live again tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. What I'll be watching, you're just going to have to come by and see. We got a meow from Relentless. She seemed to enjoy it. She's now saying goodnight to everyone, and she'll be seeing us all here in my corner out on Wednesday. Thank you all for watching, and see you, Space Cowboy.